What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about Xdefiant once again on this channel. It's been a little bit, news has been a bit slow. They've been taking their time trying to put together the game because obviously the game has been set to be released at the end of the summer, so they are putting in a lot of work right now to make sure everything's polished off. But I saw some information over on Twitter that I actually thought was pretty interesting, and I would love to bring it up. Obviously, discuss stuff down in the comment section, and I would love to know if you guys think that this is, something that you would love to see in Xdefiant, or if it's just going to be a waste of time, waste of resources, and should be completely ignored to make sure all of their focus is on their core arcade arena shooter. But, of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and dive deep into the topic of today's video, if you do enjoy what you hear today and want to hear some more content revolving around Xdefiant, Call of Duty, or even Battlefield, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification button. And last but not least, I do want to mention this. We are going to be streaming on Twitch for the last week of this month. I know in my previous video I said I'm going to be over on Kick, but for the very last week, we are going to be on Twitch all week long. And when obviously we're going to return back to Kick because I really want to go ahead and grind that platform. But at the end of the day, you guys know how I am. I don't like ditching anything that I've ever started. I've been on Twitch for so long, so clearly I'm still going to show it a little love, a little respect, and we're going to be grinding on it for the rest of this week. So if you guys want to check that out, if you want to see some live streams from me, chat it up with me, and just hang out with the community, you guys can find the link to both my Twitch and my Kick account down in the description of this video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I don't know how official this information actually is, but over on Twitter, Xdefiant Informer, who is, obviously a news source that's been putting out some pretty good information about Xdefiant, keeping people up to date, so on and so forth, put out a post saying, what if Xdefiant zombies? Now, again, I don't know how official this is. I don't know if maybe they saw something behind the scenes or heard something behind the scenes, and they're trying to get the community a little sparked up again before, obviously, the official launch of the game. But at the end of the day, I think this is a good topic for us to go ahead and discuss down in the comment section and on this video in particular, because it's something that I think personally would be a pretty decent addition to the game without killing the overall formula of what Xdefiant is all about. I gotta be honest, at first, I didn't really want to see any zombies. I didn't want to see any side modes. I didn't want to see anything introduced into Xdefiant because I'm scarred. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm scarred. Being a Call of Duty fan, I've seen game mode after game mode after game mode take more and more away from the traditional Call of Duty vibes. And whenever I see another game try to go down this route, it worries me. It doesn't matter what game it is. Even Battlefield, for example, whenever they try to go down the BR route, it scares me because every time they do it, they ruin their core experience. It just is what it is. And I thought the same thing, If they're going to introduce a BR into Xdefiant, it's going to kill the overall game. Instead of the game being an arcade arena shooter, it's going to start, reformatting all the game mechanics and rearranging everything that's, in the game itself that makes it a good arena shooter, and starting to adjust that stuff to make it fit more towards a battle royale. Because we all know, when trends are popular, any publisher, any development team is going to chase the trend over what makes their game good in the first place. Now, luckily, BR isn't in their plans, and I don't have anything to worry about when it comes to that. But zombies, on the other hand, would actually, in my opinion, like I said, be a decent introduction into the game. Right now, the only thing to really be excited about when it comes to Xdefiant is the multiplayer. Right now, it's a safe haven for Call of Duty fans. Call of Duty refugees, I guess. People have been struggling through the Call of Duty franchise. This game is for you. But that's all it really is. It's not going to have a campaign. It's not going to have any side modes or anything confirmed just yet. The only experience that would really drag you into this title is if you want to play an FPS game. And if you're not in the mood for an FPS game, it might not drag you into the overall scene. But adding more modes into the overall game, at least popular modes, would definitely make the game more interesting, more intriguing, and would definitely increase its popularity. But again, it depends on the mode that they're adding in to the game. If it's BR, then it's going to kill the overall experience of what the game is all about. But something like zombies, on the other hand, isn't going to interfere with the arcade arena shooter. They can still make sure all the mechanics, all the vibes, everything that they want for this game to be an arena shooter stays exactly how it is, while just adding in a zombies mode. Now, of course, it's going to have to be a little bit more detailed. They might have to think some stuff out. They might have to plan some stuff out. But the whole point that I'm trying to make here is it's not going to kill the game mechanics. That's the only thing that matters to me is if they kill the game mechanics. And I also want to bring up, when adding in a game mode into your game, you want to make sure it doesn't have too much competition for what your game is all about. Again, I know I said it 50,000 times over and over and over again here, but Xdefiant is an arcade arena shooter, right? But if we add in other game modes, like I said earlier, Battle Royale, that's going to be prime competition. People who want to have a competitive-ish type of experience, or people who want a casual-ish type of experience, or just people who just want to have an FPS game. A game like that is going to drag players away. It's not like adding in Capture the Flag or King of the Hill. No, you're adding in a completely different genre of game mode that can easily compete with arena shooters. We've seen it in the past. We've seen Warzone completely take over the whole Call of Duty scene. It will happen with this. And a lot of people might say, well, it won't take over. It'll just be a little mix. It'll add some more variety into the game. And yeah, I mean, I can agree in the current time when it's not in the game and we haven't seen any proof of what would happen. But I am still worried that it will take all of their development time, with what happened with Call of Duty and what happened with all these other development teams. That's how it goes down. When Battle Royale gets entered into the franchise, that's where their time goes. They could care less about their 6v6 side. They could care less about their core experience that made them popular. They just want to make sure the game revolves around BR. So zombies, on the other hand, adding that into the game won't take away from people wanting an arcade arena shooter. When people think, okay, I want to play an FPS game, they're not going to be debating on if they want to go to Battle Royale in Xdefiant or if they're going to go to the core experience in Xdefiant. There's not going to be any conflict, and there's not going to be any conflict on what the developers should prioritize. It's just going to be simply, if I want to play an FPS game, I'll go to the original Xdefiant experience. And if I want something a bit more casual, something that, I can kick back on a little bit more PvE-ish, I'll go over to zombies. But there's no serious competition in its own game. And I know there's still going to be people out there who will say, yeah, there is competition because it's a completely different mode. It's going to take away from the main game. They're going to have to make a separate team to work on it, which takes away from the main focus. But I gotta be real with you guys. After playing the closed beta and also the open beta, a lot of you guys played it as well, the game was actually pretty dang fun. It didn't need that many adjustments. It's not like playing Call of Duty and, the perk system is absolutely atrocious. We need a complete perk overhaul. We need more content. We need this, that, all of this stuff needs to be rearranged. No, it's nothing of that sort. The base game is good. It just needs to be polished. So honestly, I don't think it's that much competition for, having to make a separate team and moving them over to make a co-op experience, especially with it being zombies. If it was BR, yeah, it would take a lot of time probably for them to be able to put that together and also, have enough time to polish off their core experience. But something like co-op, zombies, I don't think it's going to interfere too much. Especially with Xdefiant only needing things like, fixing up maybe the servers a little bit more, this, that, and that. You guys know the details of what were the problems, the main, critiques when it came to the closed and open beta, which they already addressed, they already talked about. They're very open with us. We know everything that's going on. And, I'll be honest with you, I know a lot of people had problems with the open beta, but from closed to open, it was a tremendous difference. So I'm assuming that open to the full launch is going to be pretty decent as well. So, yeah, you know what? I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. And also at the same exact time, Call of Duty zombie fans, that's not a small department, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people underestimate zombies when it comes to COD, but it's very popular. I know it's not what I do. I'm a multiplayer guy, but I can always respect that zombies is always popping, especially when it comes to Treyarch. Yeah, we've had rough experiences like Vanguard and stuff like that, but that's why I always say the zombies community struggles. They get a Treyarch-style zombies experience every so often. And, at the end of the day, they have to wait years almost to get something else that could be of similar quality. It sucks for them. It's not like us, multiplayer guys, even though we get screwed over again and again and again, but at least we still get, something else to talk about. The zombies community, they struggle hard. So tapping into the zombies marketplace, I don't think would do anything negatively to them. It would only bring in more players, and there are definitely players that want that type of experience. I know the developers for Xdefiant always say that, their main, goal is not to wipe clean Call of Duty, but let's be real here. Yes, they are coming at Call of Duty's neck, Call of Duty's throne. Of course, we all know it's not going to be anything that can take over, at least not right away. And obviously, everybody, even the developers, they just want to make their own game, but have it be in that field. Nobody's actually stepped in and tried to compete with COD. People have stepped in to compete with Battlefield. People have stepped in to compete with, other shooters out there, but nobody really steps in to compete with COD unless it's an indie-style game, and they don't really live up. COD usually always can completely outshine them. Xdefiant here is pretty decent competition, especially if it could be backed up with some good support, which they've already given the whole plan for content, DLC, all that good stuff. We know what's happening. Nothing is left in the shadows with this game. It feels great to know everything and not feel so disrespected in the community and the of the franchise that you love. But the point that I was trying to make is that yes, they are coming to try to compete with COD, and COD is very well known for zombies. I don't see anything wrong with, going into a zone where you're trying to compete with one another and bringing in your own style of co-op experience. I think it could only benefit your game. And at the end of the day, if they can make it unique enough and just not a copy and paste of what Call of Duty Zombies has always been about, they could just do their own thing. Yeah, I could see them shine, and this can only benefit the game, bring in more players, and spread the word about this game, because we all know word of mouth is one of the most efficient ways of getting a game hype. I mean, look at BattleBit. That game has been, in the trenches for ages, just, working for years and years and years, doing their own thing, minding their own business, just trying to improve their game. And because they didn't want to rush out the product, because they didn't want to follow any trends, because, they didn't want to do anything bad for it, they just wanted to make sure they got out a good product. The game popped off. And instantly, word of mouth spreads. It spreads like wildfire. And as you saw, these people made millions off of 3-4 developers? Yeah, word of mouth is very effective. And honestly, if you can get plenty of multiplayer guys, which is already going on right now, that's why the game is popular enough as it is. But if you can also get the zombies community as well, yeah, this game can last a pretty good time, I think. But, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Also, for a brand new, enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe, double the occasion button. Also, want to chat me, there's two ways to do so. Over to our Discord, both in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link to the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.